Hey everyone, and welcome to this masterclass style explainer. Look, if you're tuning in, you're probably someone who wants to just cut right through the noise, right? You want to get straight to the mechanics of what actually works. Well, today we're bringing some serious energy to a topic that is, quite frankly, fundamentally changing how we look at program leadership and delivery in the AI era. We're going to dive into how great programs actually deliver. We're talking about moving away from those rigid, clunky legacy processes and stepping into actual, true transformation. We'll be unpacking the sheer DNA of successful delivery systems and AI-enabled operating models. So grab a coffee, settle in, and get ready to rethink basically everything you know about managing complex initiatives. Okay, let's take a quick look at our syllabus for today's explainer. 1. The high costs of failure. 2. Where transformations break down. 3. Introducing the DTRM framework. 4. From chaos to clarity. And finally, number 5. The AI era program leader. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. The high cost of failure. We really need to uncover the baseline reality of why so many incredibly ambitious, well-funded initiatives hit a massive brick wall despite everyone's best intentions.
Okay, let's dive into this. 70%, literally 70% of transformations fall totally short of their goals. That is just a staggering, honestly painful statistic. I mean, if you've ever felt deeply frustrated working on a massive project, you know that feeling like you're pushing a massive boulder up a hill only to watch it roll right back down? Well, this completely validates exactly what you're feeling. The vast majority of these huge corporate overhauls, these big digital transformations, they just don't deliver the promised value. None of it. And that creates an immediate sense of urgency for us today, right? We simply cannot keep doing things the exact same way and just kind of hope to magically land in that successful 30%.
But hey, here is the silver lining, and it's a massive one. You can achieve a 3 times higher success rate simply by having aligned governance. Just think about that for a second. We're not talking about working 3 times as hard or spending 3 times as much money. No way. By simply aligning the governance, getting the rules, the decision rights, and the operational rhythms totally in sync, you will literally triple the odds that the exact same program will actually succeed. It's wild.
And that brings us right to the core thesis of our explainer today. This quote just perfectly captures the reality on the ground. Most programs don't fail because people aren't working hard. They fail because delivery, process, governance, and decisions are disconnected. I mean, wow, that is an absolute revelation. Failure is not a lack of effort. Your teams are exhausted, right? They're working nights and weekends probably fueled by cold pizza and dread. The breakdown is systemic. It's like a giant puzzle where the pieces just don't fit. It's a fundamental disconnect in how the gears of your organization actually mesh together. When the folks making the decisions are totally disconnected from the people managing the process, and the governance is entirely detached from actual delivery, well, you get failure, because hard work simply cannot overcome a broken system.
All right, moving on to Section 2, where transformations break down.
So, if hard work isn't the problem, what on earth is? Let's put on our professor hats for a second and look objectively at the space between strategy and execution. We see these 4 massive roadblocks. First up, unclear ownership. You know the drill. Everyone is involved, but literally no one is actually accountable. Second, too many ceremonies. We're spending so much time talking about the work in endless, mind-numbing meetings that we aren't actually doing the work. Third, vanity agile metrics. Oh, this is a huge one. This is when teams celebrate their velocity or, the number of story points completed, but absolutely none of it translates to actual value for the customer or the business. It's just the illusion of progress. And finally, stakeholder misalignment. That's where different leaders have entirely different definitions of what success even looks like.
So the crucial point is this kind of counterintuitive truth. Transformation means reducing friction, not adding ceremonies. Look, when things go wrong, the corporate reflex is almost always to, schedule a meeting to talk about scheduling another weekly sync, right? We've all been there. But simply adding more meetings actually exacerbates the problem. It completely clogs the system. True transformation is really about stripping away all that noise so that value can just flow freely.
Which leads us to Section 3, introducing the DTRM framework. Now that we've properly diagnosed the illness, it's time for the ultimate structured cure. I'm going to intentionally slow down my pacing here for a second, because the DTRM framework, this is the exact blueprint you need. It is a highly practical lens for program transformation. Let's walk through it, letter by letter. D is for define. You absolutely must anchor everything in actual business outcomes, not just activity. Like, what needle are we actually trying to move here? E is for enable. Your job is to remove blockers and basically design the environment for execution.
You've got to give your team the highway to drive on. T is for track. But listen closely to this one. Measure value signals, not velocity vanity. Ask yourself, are we actually getting closer to the business outcome? Okay, R is for remove. And this is an active, ongoing verb, folks. Continuously eliminate constraints and friction as they pop up. And finally, M is for measure. Quantify the real impact and close that feedback loop so the system actually learns and improves. Define, enable, track, remove, measure. That right there, that's how you align governance and absolutely triple your success rate.
Let's bring this to life in Section 4, from chaos to clarity.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing this dramatic real-world turnaround. The starting situation was, well, pure chaos. Multiple teams, slipping delivery quarter after quarter, and completely unclear priorities. A total mess. So what was the intervention? Well, they didn't just go out and hire 50 more engineers. Instead, they did a total governance reset around value streams. They redesigned their KPIs, and crucially, this is huge, they simplified their agile rituals by 60%. I mean, they cut their meetings by more than half. And the result? An immediate skyrocket in predictability. Stakeholder trust was completely restored. And honestly, most importantly, decisions that used to take weeks, they were suddenly being made in mere days. Just days. By simplifying the system and using those DTRM principles, stripping away the fat actually supercharged their engine.
Okay, bringing us home with Section 5, the AI Era Program Leader. For this final section, we're elevating this explainer from just, framework mechanics to a much broader paradigm shift. We are talking about your actual career identity and how the role of the program leader is fundamentally permanently changing. And this brilliantly illustrates the crossroads we're standing at right now. Look at the outdated coordinator role. That's the traditional project manager who spends all day doing status coordination, facilitating endless meetings, compiling those mind-numbing manual reports, and relentlessly tracking tiny little tasks. Well, here's the reality check. In an AI-enabled operating model, software can do almost all of that. What you need to become is the system designer. You need to focus on signal detection, designing decision systems, crafting the actual operating rhythm, and building governance architecture. You are no longer the person just updating the spreadsheet, okay? You are the architect of the entire environment where the work actually happens.
Let me connect this directly to you and your career for a second. An AI-era system designer is a program leader who detects value signals, designs decision systems, and builds governance architecture, rather than manually tracking tasks. Embracing this exact definition is absolutely vital for your relevance and your impact going forward. Let's be real. AI is incredibly good at tracking tasks and spitting out status summaries. If your entire value proposition to your company is just coordinating updates, your role is at risk. But here's what AI cannot do. It cannot design a culturally nuanced decision system. It cannot build human governance architecture. By shifting your identity to a system designer, you get to leverage AI to handle all the mundane stuff, while you focus on the high-leverage work that actually guarantees that 3 times higher success rate we talked about.
Which brings us to our final powerful insight for this explainer. Transformation is not changing tools. It is changing how decisions become outcomes. Think about that. You can buy all the latest software, you can adopt the absolute newest AI platforms, but if your underlying systems are broken, you are literally just failing faster. True transformation is a fundamental rewiring of how your organization thinks, how it decides, and how it executes. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question. Changing tools is easy, but changing systems, that's hard. Look at your own programs right now. Honestly, ask yourself, are you just changing the tools, or are you actually changing how your decisions become outcomes?